In this life, we all listen to the universal language that is music. But did you know that many of the artists we listen to are actually full-fledged, jumped-in gang members? Artists that we listen to every day are gang members, and most don't even know it. Gangs in rap music aren't just in the background, they're at the front, and blink and you'll miss the signs that they show. This can be anything from warnings, slayings, tributes. Each member has got there through one way or another, whether they admit it or not. This is in their DNA. Normal people couldn't grasp the commitment and allegiance to their gangs. In this video, let's break it down and get into the gritty details. We'll get into it and show you the rappers who are gang members. Some may be dead, some are still repping their gangs to this day. Let's get straight into this. King Von, born Davin Daquan Bennett, was raised in Parkway Gardens, one of the many drill artists who came from O Block. We'll dive further into O Block in this video, but for those who aren't aware, O Block is the home of the BDs, the Black Disciples. In videos, he's been seen throwing up the GDK, Gangster Disciples Killer hand signs, which shows us he's a GDK member. The sign used is a sign of disrespect, and it's loud, and it's meant to be loud. For most fans of Von, they'd think it was harmless, but harmless it's not. Von was never one to shy away from his gangster roots, while many artists come up and shy away from it. Von wasn't one of those people. In the song Grandson for President, Von raps GDK, I be in them buildings where them killers stay. Vernon, that's a one-way, hop out, sparking, broad day, try to run, get caught, that bitch got hit, that was in the way. O Block, we run the city, rest in peace. Big A GDK, I be in them buildings where them killers stay. Then further in his songs, 2 AM and Armed and Dangerous, Von let you into his life. He showed you his rawness and his reality of day-to-day life. Where he grew up, O Block is about survival, and that life isn't just a choice. It's a common pattern that everybody from O Block reps BD and BDs hated the GDs, Gangster Disciples. From this hatred, GDK was born. King Von was a real driller, known to have multiple bodies on his record. His music was more documentation than just words. He was raw, emotionless, dangerous, and unfiltered. His gang was part of his life, and he was one of the hardest in O Block. He was ruthless and feared by many until he met his unfortunate demise. In Von's first and only album before his demise, Welcome to O Block showed his fans a way into his life. He was stamping his place in the history books and letting everyone know who he was and who he stood for and who he hated. Unfortunately for Von, in November 2020, he met his unfortunate and untimely end. Outside of a nightclub in Atlanta, Von got into an altercation with another gang member from an opposing gang, Quando Rondo. Long story short, at the age of 26, Von was shot and didn't survive. After his passing, celebrities and fans all gathered to say goodbye to one of the hardest out of O Block. But maybe just then, people realized the violence he wrapped around was real. It wasn't just words, it was real, and it was brutal, and resulted in the loss of a young life. The rivalry between GD and BD will continue to carry on, long after Von's passing, the way it did long before his existence. For the youth in Chicago, it was real life, and this isn't just rap to them. This rivalry will never just fade into the black. It will always be there. Chief Keef grew up in O Block in Chicago, which is commonly known as Chirac for its gang culture and constant violent slayings and just pure violence. In his early music such as 300, he was often indirectly referencing Black Disciples, a ruthless gang which originated in Chicago. Keef, part founder of Glory Boys Entertainment, has often had ties with Black Disciples and has mentioned it in various different music and interviews. In the song 300, Keef rapped, "But I'm 300. Click clack pow. Now he running. Don't be fucking with my youngins. Them niggas be drumming, they take your ass down shit." In 2015, one of Chief Keef's Glow Gang members, who went by the name of Capo, was fatally shot in a drive-by as the result of a gang retaliation hit. Authorities reported the shooting as part of an ongoing cycle of gang retaliation, emblematic of the harsh realities that often lie beneath the surface of the Chicago drill scene. Capo's death sent ripples through the local music community, reinforcing just how blurred the lines can be between art, life, and the streets. We go further back to 2012 when Lil Jojo was killed, which was the result of a drive-by shooting after he released a diss track dissing Keef and his associates. Jojo's murder drew national media attention, highlighting the intense and often deadly rivalries that existed within Chicago's underground rap circles. His death not only escalated tensions, but also sparked debates around the influence of drill music and the responsibilities of artists within these harsh and violent environments. Keef has been instrumental in the Chicago drill scene. His music has brought plenty of eyes on O-Block, but it has also shown there are real-life consequences behind the conflicts he talks about openly in his music. His journey and the losses surrounding it serve as a somber reminder of the stakes involved for the youth in Chicago who are involved in gang life around O-Block. Fivio Foreign came up the hard way on the streets of Brooklyn, New York. He blew onto the scene in most people's eyes, but he was in the background, grinding it out since 2011. He's known for his quick flow and being able to stand against anyone in the game, unafraid of coming out scathed. He's had a few beefs in the public eye, notably against 6ix9ine over the use of the King of New York title, another drill rapper who's unafraid of telling his gang ties, and has embraced this in his music. He has been linked with the G-Stones Crips, which is also known as GS9. GS9 blew up in the early 2000s thanks to Bobby Shmurda, who is also another GS9 member. Fivio has mentioned he is a Crip in his song Blicky in a Box. He says, "Look, flyest Crips in the game, flag tied around the leg, running in and out the bank, and we still put in pain." He then references it again in an interview with DJ Vlad, and has done an interview publicly stating he's the flyest Crip in the game. Youngboy is one of the hottest artists in the world right now, known for his raw music and his willingness to stand 10 toes against anyone in the game. He even called out Jay Prince after his car keys were stolen in a home invasion.
All that shit, I don't respect none of that shit, man. If you got something for me, man, they got plenty niggas around me you could call. Man, nigga, it's plenty ways you could get in touch with me. Man, don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly.
Not many would be brave enough to do that. NBA Youngboy reps 4K Trey, which in itself is a set in the Blood Gang. He has shown this multiple times in videos and in his music. He has never directly said he is in the Bloods. However, his hand signs show us without him even needing to say the words. Youngboy has done multiple stints in jail for all kinds of things, and reports always come out from those who have just come out of jail that he gets down when he needs to, which tells us everything we need to know about him. He's not afraid of anyone. If you're a fan of Youngboy, you've definitely heard him say 4K Trey. He mentions it on nearly every song and has thrown it up on Instagram Live countless times. The name apparently comes from a friend who was gunned down back in 2014, slain by an op in his teenage years. Quando Rondo, another gangster rapper in the scene, and a big friend of NBA Youngboy. In fact, Quando Rondo was the main instigator in King Von's death. The fight that led to Von's demise was at the hands of Quando and his crew. This fight started due to tensions in Dirk's OTF and Youngboy's NBA. Quando burst into the scene and has never been afraid to share his Crip ties. In fact, he's even posted YouTube videos of him Crip walking, something other people are afraid to show. He embraces. He even has a song named Crip Thoughts in which he references his involvement in the Rollin 60s Crips, but this is part of his childhood, growing up in Savannah, as it is with many other rappers. In his song End of Story, he mentions the incident with Von and his ties to the Crip gang. He raps, "Red rum, top shotta they play. I'm dropping a body right by the store with all them Crip. Only life that I had. What they don't know. He knocked down Funim and did it all with no mask. No many men, they want to kill me, feeling like Curtis Jackson." I think it's safe to say he embraces that gang lifestyle with open arms and isn't afraid of saying what's on his mind. However, in 2022, after the shooting of his cousin Lul Pab, in which Quando was in the car when it went down, he made it out, unscathed, but still shaken enough to denounce his association with the Crips and the gang life on social media. But life isn't always that easy. And even when you're rich and famous, you can't just walk away. As they say, blood in, blood out. As the saying goes, you take a beating or shed blood to join a gang, and you leave the same way, if you're allowed, and that's a big if. Statements said on social media will not count towards that. Julio Fulio, another slain drill rapper who died to gang violence in 2024, spoke about it on social media saying, "Homeboy died in Cali, he trying to squash beef and throw his flag in. It's too late for that nephew." But this proved to be hot air when Quando was arrested alongside other Rolling 60 Crip members and hit with drug charges. He was sentenced to federal prison for these charges in December 2024 after entering a guilty plea. Melly went viral for his song, Murder on My Mind. He was a teenager when that song came out, and it explains a lot about his current predicament. When he dropped Murder on My Mind, people assumed it was just a catchy song, but behind the track, it wasn't fictional and was facts. This was his confession, signed on air for all to read about. People assumed this was just a song for the masses, but behind it, Melly was explaining what he had done. If you've watched his open mic Genius performance, you'll see the gang signs he threw up and know he is a fully fledged gang member. In his song Bumpany, he raps, "Send your lobation if you say it's pressure, please send your whole fucking URL." I'm talking URL, that's at the top of the webpage. You say it's pressure. Yeah, pull up on his AV with the AK make his hit the nay-nay. A user even commented "blat" on the video. If you weren't already aware, members in the Blood Gang are encouraged to change all words beginning with a C to a B. This is to demonstrate their blood status and avoid being associated with anything the Crips stand for. Melly didn't hide this from people. Growing up in Florida, many teenagers end up in gangs, and that's just a way of life for young kids across the United States, not just Florida. Even while he was in jail for the supposed murders of his best friends, prosecutors argued he was sending messages to other Blood members outside of the jail walls. Melly is associated with the G-Shine Bloods, however, he continues to deny it to this day in the public eye, despite the gang signs and lyrics he's put in his music. In the song Murder on My Mind, he raps, "Yellow tape around his body, it's a fucking homicide. His face is on a t-shirt and his family traumatized. I didn't even mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise. I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back, and shot him twice." It's safe to say, Demons actually rapped what he lived, which we know isn't true for most rappers. In 2019, Demons, aka YNW Melly, was arrested and has been on trial ever since. His song that was viral for being a catchy song was now being widely criticized, and people believed it was catching up to him. What brings together the young kids in harsh environments across the United States and other countries across the world was now being put on display for the world to see, and Melly was showing the world what his life was really like. Now let's shift the lens over to a rapper in a gang completely different but still violent and ruthless. NLE Choppa came onto the scene fast. He brought a burst of energy the game was needing with his breakout song Shotta Flow. He wasn't afraid to show his roots, nor was he apologizing for them. He's continuously shown his affiliation to the Crips in both his music and in videos. In his breakout song Shotta Flow, he raps, "Pull up with the gang, you know that we bangin'. What is your set? What is you claiming? I am a beast, you cannot tame it. Don't point a finger, this shit can get dangerous." His set is the Grape Street Crips, a street gang based in Watts neighborhood of LA, which is known to have a violent feud with the Bloods. However, since his emerging fame and as his career continues to grow, he has denounced his gang lifestyle. He stated the following on X back in October 2022. "I've matured enough to say glorifying gang culture is wrong. We're taught respect those who died from it, or those who received a life sentence because of it, but we don't respect the ones who made it out. We have to give credit where it's due. Should there be more rappers who try to steer their fans and youth away from the gang lifestyle that is portrayed to us in their music? What do you think?" Gangs are everywhere in music, and some say they influence the youth to join gangs and follow the lifestyle of their favorite rappers. What would you suggest to those that say that?